Today I'm going to be learning about Finnish history and in particular Finnish military history by watching a video about the legendary Finnish soldier, Finnish sniper Simo Häyhä. I've watched a video about him before when I first started my channel, but someone recommended another video about him called White Death, the world's deadliest sniper. So yeah, even just that nickname itself is just badass, the White Death. So cool. Tell me what you know about Simo Häyhä, what his legacy is in Finland. Do people still learn about him in school? When you learn about history, Finnish history, is he someone that you learn about in school? But yeah, let's watch this video and hear his story.
It's winter 1939, almost night. As the crimson horizon spreads across the wild snow-draped forests, a column of Soviet soldiers marches across a frozen landscape. This is the Winter War, Stalin's invasion of Finland, talvisota as the Finns call it. As the column makes progress, there's a flash that comes out of nowhere and a man goes down. The Russian soldiers freeze. Cry of "Sniper fire, get down!" is shouted, and the Russian troops hit the ground and scramble for cover, while again another shot rings out and yet another man falls to the ground. A murmur spreads among the hiding Russians. Belaya smert, the White Death. All alone in the distance, a man clad head to toe in a snow-white coat, hidden from view by the wild landscape and snow pushed up all around him, balances his rifle on his gloves and patiently waits for another unfortunate soul to enter his sights. But who is this man that strikes dread into the heart of every Russian soldier in Finland? Born and raised in the rugged woods of Karelia in southern Finland, Simo Häyhä, from the start a natural hunter and sharpshooter. Häyhä recalled his experience growing up as a farmer, hunter and skier as a vital part of his skill of being the excellent sniper that he became. Having been in the Finnish Civil Guard and Finnish Army from the age of 17, he cultivated his skill as a marksman and won shooting contest after contest. His house was reportedly full of trophies for marksmanship. With the outbreak of war, Simo is deployed as part of a garrison manning the defensive lines on the Finnish-Russian border. In the early days of the war, Simo's commanding officer notices Häyhä's skill with a rifle and assigns him to work independently as a sniper. Häyhä's first action as a sniper was ironically a counter-sniping mission. Simo describes the mission such: "It happened once that my CO tried to kill an enemy sniper with his scoped rifle. This Russian had taken up position about 400 meters from us and was constantly shooting towards our lines. After a while, he sent for me and showed me approximately where he thought the enemy's sniper position to be. One of our lieutenants was with us, acting as a spotter when the duel began. At first, I did not see a trace of him, just a small rock where he was supposed to be. But after careful investigation, we spotted him behind a little hump of snow near that rock. I took careful aim with my trusty M2830, and the very first shot hit the intended target."
Oh man, I wonder if that's like, is that a true story? Is that something that's well known? Like if you do learn about him, what do you actually learn? Is it things like this? Just about his life, like you see what he came from. He obviously had that skill set due to just his circumstances, what he did in his own life before war. So he was like really made for this role, but to actually do that, execute that role in war is very different from just like practicing with guns outside that situation. So like really amazing. Is there any other people like him in Finland that are like this well known? I don't even know if I know of any other soldiers that have this sort of story from anywhere. I know there's a Canadian soldier called Leo Major that's quite famous and his exploits are well known, but I've not really heard of any other soldiers that are so well known. Is there any other Finnish soldiers that have this sort of legacy as well?
The Soviet fear of Simo grew to the point that they were willing...
Yeah, that's what I was going to say as well. Was it known that he was he like well known amongst the Russians? Was he feared like that? Did they know him as the person that was taking out all their colleagues, all their fellow soldiers?
The Soviet fear of Simo grew to the point that they were willing to call in artillery to shell the areas where they believed him to be. In fact, as Simo confirmed, the The Russians put a lot of effort into trying to kill me. After finishing yet another Soviet sniper, they vigorously started shelling Simo's foxhole. 50 shells landed around my foxhole, but in vain, Simo once described. Yet for all their efforts, the Soviets never scored more than a scratch or at best a ripped coat on Häyhä. Simo Häyhä's tactics as a sniper are unprecedented for the time. Unlike his Soviet counterparts, Simo doesn't use scoped sights, preferring iron sights as scopes risk giving off a glare that expose the sniper's location.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like, to me, as someone who's like very uneducated on guns and things like this, but if you have any more knowledge, like how much more difficult would it make it to shoot without the scope on, to get that that vision or sight of the target?
He said that he caught many a careless Russian sniper due to the glare of their scopes. The cold doesn't bother him either, as he's always prepared with many layers of thick winter clothing. On a cold December day, Simo wanders into the wild and heads to one of his favourite spots, a snow-covered tree with low-hanging branches that creates the perfect spot overlooking a valley. With snow in his mouth, his breath doesn't give away his position. Häyhä pushes up the snow around him, constructing a makeshift barrier, and with a daily ration supply, he sits and waits for hours. He waits, and patiently waits like any good hunter, until his patience is rewarded when a group of 4 Soviet soldiers march into the iron sights of his rifle. Simo fires and reloads rapidly after each shot. After 4 shots, 4 men lay in the snow, never to rise.
Oh.
Simo goes on to fire his rifle 25 times that day, setting a record for the most kills achieved by a sniper in one day, increasing the ever-growing legend of Simo Häyhä as the White Death in the Soviet ranks.
25 in one day? Like, is that being confirmed? Like, this is obviously a long time ago, but is there things like this still going? Is there snipers known for these sort of records? Incredible.
The story of Simo Häyhä as an invisible sniper and his legacy as the fear of his foes, a hero at home, became even more dreaded by not just Soviet soldiers, but also the Soviet High Command, who put a bounty on his head. There were Soviet snipers who wanted the bounty, going to the hotspots and waiting in ambush for Simo. One set up his position and waited for hours. As night fell, the sniper thought that Simo must have left and stood to head back to base. There's a crack, but the Russian never hears it and falls in the snow. By the end of January 1940, Simo would achieve 200 career kills. And for this, Simo was awarded by the Finnish government a custom rifle designed for him, although he would continue to use his ever-trusted M2830 rifle. Simo continues to rack up kills throughout the war and achieves the remarkable feat of over 500 sniper kills in 100 days. In early March, he leads a squad of fellow Finns against a superior attacking Red Army force, attempting to penetrate through the forest. Of the battle, Simo recalled, "I was in the dark forests of Ulisma. We were given a mission to counterattack, one of many. We moved to our starting positions at early dawn. There was a swamp, some 300 meters wide, which we crossed without difficulty. Once over the swamp, we charged against the enemy that was really close to us. My rifle functioned very well. We were so close to the enemy that even some were only 2 meters away from me. The enemy was forced to withdraw, but some very brave individual soldiers remained behind to cause havoc amongst us. Suddenly there was a shot, maybe only 50 to 100 meters away, and I felt hit. There's a whoosh, and Simo gets tunnel vision, and then everything goes white for the White Death, and he falls, hit in the jaw by an exploding bullet. After the battle, the Finnish soldiers find what they think is Simo's remains and place him in a pile with the other fallen. Then, one of the Finns notices a leg twitching amongst the pile. Incredibly, Simo was alive, but half his face was gone. He's in a coma for 3 days, by which time the Winter War is over. Simo had 26 surgeries to repair his shattered jaw, which was crafted from a piece of bone taken from his hip. After recovering, he would peacefully live the rest of his days at his new farm in the scenic Finnish countryside.
I mean, almost 100 years old as well, man. This guy was just an incredible human being.
passing away in 2002 at the ripe old age of 96. Simo left a legacy as the world's greatest sniper and marksman, while a renowned Finnish hero, the stuff of legend. When asked about his services in the war, Simo said, "I didn't feel anything towards the enemy. I just fired and loaded, and continued as long as there were enemies. I just shot every time I saw one. I didn't care if he was a commander or not. I'm a lucky man. I've never had dreams about the war. I've always slept well during the war too. I did what I was told to do as well as I could." Asked how he became such a good shot, he simply said, "Practice." If you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel and please watch more videos.
I mean, that's like the perfect lesson for anybody to do anything. Just practice and you'll get better, man. That's the way it is. Simple and like straight to the point. Love that. And just such a like humble guy as well. Like, I think he's not over the top about it. It's just like that's what he had to do, man. Yeah, like really amazing story. Like just incredible numbers of kills, and yeah, like amazing. Like just as a soldier, you can't ask for more for a soldier for your country. So yeah, tell me how he's remembered in Finland, what you think about him, when did you first learn about him? Has there been like any movies about his life? I think that would be quite interesting as well. I wonder if there's also any interviews from like later in his life and him recounting what went on. I'd love to maybe see them. If you know of any, please recommend them. But tell me what you think about this one. Thanks.